Hey everyone, welcome. Hope that February has been good to you all. Today on the show we have the cutest Ward Silverman, who's going to come and talk about how he fell into sketch cards and all his art tools and all that cool stuff. Welcome to the show, Ward.
Thanks for having me again. So I guess I'll just start off. So basically getting into sketch cards. It was in 2015. It was a whole process. It was like a year. Like I graduated from college. I've always been in the arts. I went to college for animation. Kind of picked up some. I liked animation there somewhat, but then I really fell in love with illustration and just the painted image and just like competition perspective and all that stuff. I'm like, I want to learn that stuff. So for a year after I graduated, I didn't really have anything art related going on, and I heard about Topps sketch cards just through like, I think it was like DeviantArt or something. And I was just researching. No, the first thing I saw was I might mispronounce his name. Is David Ravi, I think is his name. He had done like Galaxy card from years ago with like, it's like a concept version of Boba Fett with the white armor fighting like, or no, it's Boba Fett fighting with like two like Ralph McQuarrie stormtroopers with the lightsabers and stuff and the flamethrowers, and I was like, whoa, what the heck is this? So like I looked into that and I actually messaged him and I messaged another guy, Gary Kazil, and both of them were very helpful. They were like, because I was like, how do you even get into this? And they're like, well, he's like, Gary's like, yeah, you kind of got to know someone and stuff. He's giving me some advice, and David gave me some advice, and his advice was like, I didn't want to hear at the time. It was like, you need to like improve on your anatomy and your composition and perspective and all the fundamentals. And I'm like, okay. So I worked on that some more, and then it was just like trying to get in with Topps. It was just like I mailed my work several times, didn't hear anything. And I kept, at that time I was doing colored pencils. So it's like, well, like I actually wasn't like, hand painting stuff wasn't like my go-to yet. And then like once I got into hand painting, like I'm just like, yeah, this is like natural. This is just like, this is different, So like then I just messaged one of the art directors on LinkedIn, and a couple of weeks later had an invite, and that was pretty awesome. It was like for two sets. It was for Revenge of the Sith. I think that was the 10th anniversary one, the wide vision one, and that's like my favorite Star Wars movie. So that was sick. And then it was that one, and then the Chrome Perspectives, Jedi versus Sith. I think, yeah. So just went from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was looking at your Star Wars. I love the way you paint. Really cool. Now, are your acrylics? Is that what you're using?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. But yeah, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask you, like, no, you have a really distinctive style and your palette. I really like what you do with your palette. Very, very moody. I think you really caught the feel of that Star Wars, kind of grit and tech stuff. So,
Nice.
kudos, really good stuff. I like that. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it very different from animation, seeing as you mentioned you were studying animation and all that?
Oh yeah. Because animation, well, what we did in school was 3D, so we used like Autodesk, Maya, and we made a little film, a little sci-fi film. But yeah, that's completely different. Like I didn't even really animate. I ended up being like the texture artist on the film, so I just kind of would take the assets and I'm just going in Photoshop and just adding textures, and then it's basically like a skin you put on the 3D characters, and then you just put it on them, and all of a sudden it's like 3D. But so like what I was doing was basically like 2D stuff still. I was still doing like basically art things, illustration type things, in the 3D environment. So
Are you
animation itself is pretty fun. And it wasn't like something I wanted to devote like my life to.
Well, that was what I was going to ask is you, seeing as you studied animation, I would imagine you like animation. So I was wondering if you were planning to continue with it or.
Yeah, well, in a way, actually, unexpected, like, because I just got into illustration, just stick with that for all these years, since 2014. But then, you know, kind of on a side tangent, like I'm going to be actually like a missionary in Mexico, by the end of the year. And one of the things we're working on
Wow.
is an animated like Bible specifically for like the deaf population in Mexico. So like it's going to be like Mexican folk art, like elements, and just be really fun. So I kind of have to get back into animation now, but it's 2D. 2D is way more. I like it way better than 3D. Way less complicated. But yeah.
That's cool. Now you mentioned illustration. I saw you've done cover art like for albums and you
Oh yeah.
know, and your sketch cards. Now, how do you fall into all that? Is it that just one of those right place, right times? Um,
Oh yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah, because I've always loved like heavy metal music and like like the old school stuff, and so that was the whole thing. Like I've been trying for years to get into that. Like basically, like when I first started off, it's just emailing people, it's just messaging people on Facebook, and bands are really really tough because you have to get it like exactly right time. Like they have to be like recording or like planning a new album, not have anybody in mind for artwork. Like it has to be just that right timing. If they just release an album, they're probably not even gonna think about it right at that moment and stuff. And some of them already have like their dedicated artists too. Um,
Interesting.
and the big ones won't even, most of the time won't even respond. I mean they can't get like 1,000 messages, but so yeah, but yeah, there's a couple of bands. They're all actually like Christian metal bands, which is like a little subgenre that I'm into a lot. But it's cool because I was listening to some of these guys in high school, and then like I actually get to work with some of them. It's really really cool. But it's taken years, just building my skills and stuff. And I guess like my style is like kind of old school, and it's kind of like it fits that 80s like metal album cover where just
mhm.
crazy stuff like, and it fits a certain style.
Yeah.
But a lot of bands are much more into the like Photoshop stuff now, which is cool. I mean, that's a whole other thing, but
Yeah.
that's not really what I'm providing. So it's a very specific type of bands that will gravitate
Yeah.
towards that. But yeah,
It's
that's been cool.
Now I know I don't know if you ever heard of them. Well, of course you have Gorillas, but the art that's with them, I've always loved that, and the music, really cool stuff. But yeah, that's really
Oh yeah,
neat.
yeah, that's cool.
Do you play
Cool.
music yourself?
No, yeah, no musical talent. Just I just like it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
cool.
So you've been working on sketch cards for like what 5, 6 years now?
Yeah,
Has
yeah,
it driven you crazy yet?
yeah.
How do
I
you
mean,
keep saying doing sketch cards?
man, yeah, it's been the whole process. I mean, like right now, I've kind of taken a step back from a lot of stuff. I mean, not everything. Like I'm obviously working on the Dragon set and maybe a couple other things, but like that's been a cool process. That's been like in the very beginning, I would spend a lot more time on the cards, and well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would do like 5 cards a day sometimes, and then I'm just like, yeah, I can't do that, because like back then I didn't have as much responsibility and stuff, and now that I do, it's like it's different, but yeah, it's been a great
Now,
process.
where do you work out of? Where do you live?
I'm in Florida, in the
Oh, you're in
States.
Florida.
Yeah,
What part?
Melbourne.
Okay, I'm in Orlando.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's where I went to UCF. That's where I went.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome. Small
Oh,
world, small world.
oh,
But
yeah.
so when you get your card, do you go straight to work on it? Do you gesso it? Do you use a ground? Do you just dive into it?
Yeah, to be honest, I just kind of go straight to work on it. Um, maybe that's not the best, but I just kind of, that stuff always kind of like I wasn't sure about, so I just paint it, to be
Oh, so you
honest.
just you sketch with your paint? That's interesting.
Yeah.
As far as sketching, yeah, pretty much.
Wow, I'm
Where
impressed.
it gets me into trouble with portraits, but that's why I kind of stopped doing portraits at this certain point. You know, that's my weakness. But yeah, I kind of just, I look at a reference. There's like Star Wars screencaps.com was a good one, and I would just like find the most obscure like little thing in episode 3 or something, like some creature in the background, and be like, okay, nobody's ever painted this as far as I know, so let's do this.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
So
That
yeah.
gives something for everybody in a way, because you'd be surprised how many people like some of the lesser known
Yeah.
creatures or people or.
That Star Wars fandom, they know those obscure things. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
that's crazy cool.
So what are your favorite tools at the moment? Like you mentioned, you use acrylics and color pencils. Do you mix them by any chance, or?
No, I stopped using color pencils once I started sketch cards. Like that was kind of like my first couple of drafts, sending to tops were a color pencil and stuff. But no, I just straight acrylics. That's pretty much it.
That's cool.
Just got a bunch of I just go to Michael's and just get a bunch of the really small tipped brushes. Obviously for sketch cards it helps a lot. It helps so much, but like I usually have like maybe 2 or 3 brushes I work with on each card, and so like the one will be like kind of the old beat up one that's just I use it for the background, blocking in values and things, and then go in there with the fine one and add some cool stuff. And yeah.
What kind of paint do you like to use? Do you have a favorite brand, or you just use whatever's on sale type of thing?
Yeah, I kind of stick with like Liquitex.
Yeah.
It's just because that's what I've always used, and
that's cool.
I haven't had any issues with it. So
they have a great.
I think Ingrid and I both found out it's like we always like knowing art supplies and trying new brands, new stuff. Exactly. It's like, oh, this is new. Let's try that. So
do you do digital art as well?
Yeah. I haven't really gotten paid for it yet. It's kind of just something I've been developing on the side. But yeah, I paint in Photoshop and stuff, and trying to get to the point where I can be at the level where I can apply to like video game companies and stuff, because that's my ultimate goal, is to do concept art or do illustration for like those different companies, Magic the Gathering, stuff like that. Hopefully. So that's always been the goal.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. But
do you have an iPad that you work on, or do you use a Syntec or something?
No, well, yeah, right now I just use a little Wacom tablet. Like I've been using the same one for like 10 years, and but I'm gonna upgrade pretty soon, probably. It's just like a bamboo,
Yeah, I had one of those for the longest time.
Yeah, I mean, like the way I see it, if it works, if it still works, like it's just a tool,
Yeah.
Like you either have the skill or you don't, type of thing. Like, I mean, okay, using a mouse isn't feasible, but
no,
it's hard.
It does not.
So you've done a lot of properties. You've done your Star Wars stuff. You did Ultraman, and I'm sure you've done others. What's been the favorite property that you've worked on?
I mean, definitely Star Wars, like by far. Ultraman is really fun, and I didn't know what Ultraman was until I started, and then I researched it and stuff. It's like, oh, this is cool. Like I would have loved this as a kid, if I knew about it.
Yeah.
And the other ones like Ninja Turtles was kind of cool.
Oh, that's neat. Oh, really fun.
Yeah, from Tops, and then what was it? Aesop's Fables for Upper Deck. That was really interesting. I really like. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Iconic Creations.
Yes, Kokonakis. Yes.
Yeah, Coconut. Yeah. They're awesome people, and like I really love those sets because like it's all stuff that's not copyrighted. It's just it's just like Warriors or whatever. But it's like that forced me to actually like oh, I got to come up with my own completely own composition, own scenes, lighting. I got to figure everything out and take these. A lot of it was based on novels, so you got to like actually read a little bit and then translate that. So that was cool. That taught me a tremendous amount, doing those sets.
Which do you prefer, doing your own stuff or having licensed properties?
Um, yeah, I think I do prefer actually like making my own stuff, own
Oh,
compositions,
that's cool.
like for instance, like the one thing I've been trying to get into, working on is with Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, and just studying the artwork. Some of it is a little outside my realm, it's a little too dark. But I mean, they have such a wide variety of subject matter. Like a lot of it is literally just landscape paintings, and so I'm like looking at their stuff, and it's like, wow, like the amount of thought they put into that painting.
Yeah.
It's like I would be like that. That's my goal. So
Do you
Now
plan
you do
on,
some really cool landscape stuff. I saw on your Facebook you had kind of like a swampy scene. It was very
yeah,
green and watery. That
yeah.
was really neat. Now what was that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in Florida, like I love the look of the swamp. I love that feel. Um, I don't know. It was kind of it was a little bit in response to what I've seen with Magic too, where they have a lot of land cards and a lot of swamps and bogs and marsh, forests, plains, and all that. So like part of that, it was like, well, I would have built my portfolio for a client like that. So let's just do some straight landscapes. I'm still gonna make more probably, and also creatures. Like try designing my own creatures and stuff like that.
do you think that
That's
you're
just so
going to
neat.
start creating your own characters to produce your own work or sets, or
Yeah.
maybe comic books or some kind of illustrated book of your own?
Yeah. I have to like get motivated enough to actually bring it to life. But yeah, I have a lot of characters I've been developing since I was a kid. Um, it's a whole like robot universe where they're like kind of robots that are like partly like crystalline. Like it's hard to explain, but like basically they're like heads are like big diamonds, and like it's really out there. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
but yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw one of
eventually,
your drawings was like pink crystals, like
yeah.
stalagmite kind of things. That was really neat. You handled that really well. It was really fun.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I love painting crystals and minerals and all that stuff, and I got a couple of books with like all the different ones, and so it's like just crazy, you know.
Oh,
oh, that's
wow,
awesome.
that's really interesting. Gee, you should get together with Elaine Perna and create a rock
Oh
set
yeah,
or a crystal set or something.
Oh yeah.
Give a
that'd be
shout
really
out to
cool.
early episodes here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So now you've been doing sketch cards, where we work at 2.5 by 3.5.
yeah.
Do you like working larger, like when you're doing your landscape and your design? Like what size do you tend to work at? Do you keep it small? Or do you work larger? How do you do it?
Yeah. I think I prefer the larger. I don't even know like what size would be. It's like, yeah, I got something right here, but it's just like a standard like maybe 12 by 18 or something like that. It's
There you go.
nice.
That's big.
Um,
Huh.
Yeah.
So you're a
yeah.
very patient person then. You don't mind to take the time that it takes to paint a larger piece.
No, no, yeah, because I think it's worth it because you can just get so much more detail in it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I love sketch cards because like you guys know you kind of get absorbed in that world, so like it doesn't feel so small like once you're like really in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
That
like
and
both.
you can kind of dedicate a short amount of, well, I mean, quote unquote short. It all depends on,
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah,
But it doesn't normally take you a year to do a project, which a larger piece can easily take you, well, whatever time it
long
takes.
time. Yeah,
Some of us
Yeah.
don't have much in the way of patience, kind of like the smaller formats for that.
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, it's weird going from cards. One of the watercolors I'm working on right now is 11 by 17, and
Wow.
it's weird going, from the itty bitties up to,
I
the
know.
big. So yeah.
How are you handling that, Jenni? How are you dealing with that?
Actually, when I work on that one, I have it, it's a watercolor. So I have it taped down to a board, and my workspace in here is too small. So I go out on the patio and I paint out there just because I don't have the room in this space right now. But
how are you handling the change from small to big and just placing everything around? And
yeah, it's hard. This is what he is right now. So I've got
cool.
him taped down. But yeah, I start up in the top and then work down. But you just got to think of spacing so different. When you're doing your cards, you can just kind of, okay, I'll over here. But yeah, when you're working that big, it's a different mindset. So I'm always curious, how other people go from the small stuff to larger size stuff like you're doing too.
So Ward, how do you approach the larger ones? Do you start with big shapes and work down to tiny details, or what do you do? Just slap everything on there?
Yeah. Basically, like I usually don't sketch on the actual like material, but I'll have a sketch though I'm looking at. Like I'll doodle during the day or something and come up with an idea. So I'm basing it on something. It's just not directly on it. But yeah, I'm pretty loose. I paint the big shapes. I get the composition down, colors. And that's the main thing. And then after that, just different phases of refining it. And
do you paint over what you've already done? Like for instance, seeing as you don't really draw on your final surface, so you kind of, I guess you sort of paint as you go, if you like. But then if you decide to change your mind, do you paint over what you'd already done, or?
That happens a healthy amount of times. I mean, I guess a typical professional artist would say that's like not the right way to paint. Like you should.
Oh, there's no wrong way to do it if it works for you.
Yeah, if it comes
whatever
out
gets you through.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy it. I like for instance, I'm working on I don't know if you guys are familiar with Printed in Blood. They make the art books. So there's Ultraman one. I'm working on a submission for that, and like it's literally just like they're like it should focus on this Ultra 7, I think is the one it should focus on, but I'm like, okay, but like I like all the other Ultraman too. I like the original one, so I gotta put the original one on there. And then I paint him, and I'm like, well, I can't just have two of them. I gotta add this third guy who looks cool. And I got like the whole like pantheon now, like on like it wasn't planned. It was just like improv, basically. But you can do it with that because it's using reference. So like it's not so much my own thing. It's just placing things, more composition than anything.
Are you a doodler, like or I mean, do you draw for yourself too, or do you just mostly strictly work? I know with everything going on in our lives, sometimes it's hard to find that time for your own clearing your brain kind of stuff, or just drawing stuff you enjoy. Do you have time to do that, or is it mostly just work?
What Jenni is trying to say is, do you have a sketchbook?
Okay.
That's the easier way to say it. Yes.
Kind of. I don't know. Like I don't have an official sketchbook that I walk around with. I mean, I'll just sketch on anything, like just like a back of piece of paper at my job or something. Because I do other stuff. I don't do full-time art.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is art your main life, or do you have a totally different day job, or?
Yeah, I do a couple completely different things. I mean, I would like for it to be my main thing, that's the goal, but haven't gotten there yet. But like, yeah, I mean, I work for a tech company. We make like 3D models of buildings and use them in simulations and stuff. It's pretty cool. And then substitute teacher, so that's fun.
What do you teach?
Well, I don't really teach. I'm just a substitute. So like I just like fill in for classes, but it's cool whenever I get to fill in for art class or graphic design because I can actually help them out. And that's always cool. It's like, hey, yeah, I've done stuff for Tops and they're all hopefully get inspired by that, you know.
Oh,
Um,
that's really cool.
but
So
it's cool.
at your tech job, do you ever tell them that you do sketch cards? Or they're like, wow, that's neat? Or they're like,
Yeah.
what's a sketch card?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've had conversations with them about that and you know, they think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's something that like even like a lot of Star Wars fans haven't heard of the sketch card market. You know, it's very, you know, niche and stuff. But yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
wow. So you're spreading the sketch card word. So
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, trying to, I guess, you know. It's
So,
go ahead.
oh no, I was going to ask, like, do you collect any sketch cards? Are there any artists that you collect for sketch cards or trade?
Uh no, I don't think I have any sketch cards from anyone.
do
Yeah.
you collect anything at all?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I mean, I have a lot of different types of trading cards, just not sketch card, like just like regular, like for instance, like because I grew up with when the prequels were coming out, like for Star Wars. So like I have a pretty good collection of like the Episode 2 Tops cards and Episode 3 cards and stuff, and
Cool.
lots of action figures, which I'm trying to downsize right now, but you know I can't take that all with me to Mexico, but lots of Star Wars stuff, you know. Um,
Do
yeah,
you
some
collect
comics.
Yeah, do you collect books or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, pretty good amount of art books, you know, from like Alex Ross and you know Michael Whelan and all
No,
these
Michael Whelan's
legendary artists.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
you know.
Well, who are your influences? You said Ross and Whelan. Who else do you like?
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, like um, Tsuneo Sanda, which the artwork's behind me. Japanese artist who's done a lot of Star Wars stuff. Man, like Norman Rockwell. I mean, like it
Oh,
just it depends what genre you want. Like Hudson River School artists, like the old school stuff.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack Kirby. I mean, it just keeps you know Frank Frazetta, of course. You know all that stuff.
So
Yeah.
what are you working on right now? Well, I know you're working on a couple of sets, but are you working on any other projects at the moment that you'd like to share?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I can like actually show it, but yeah, I'm working on one album cover over here, which is it's pretty cool. It's like it's just like they said they want like mechs, like mech robots fighting in a like urban setting. So just like you know, just
Cool.
robot battlefield basically. So
Wow.
that like I love robots. That's my main thing. So like you know that's awesome. And then yeah, just the Ultraman submission for the art book, which is basically just going to be like it just became like a whole like because it's I think it's like 50th anniversary if I'm right or something like that. So it just became a whole like you know collage of like everything Ultraman. You know, I'm just researching like oh cool they have like a planet called the Land of Light that is like this glowing like planet. It's like let's add that. Let's might as well add everything now. It's just like a huge thing
Wow.
now. So
Can't wait to see that.
I
yeah.
know. Well, cool. Well, do you do like any conventions where you show your work or?
I've done a handful, just a couple. I guess for me, like I never did too well at conventions, like because like I would just come with my sketch cards, and then if people are like, "Well, I don't want to spend like $150 on a little sketch card," you know, like if they don't know what it is already, they're like they you try to tell them, "Oh, it's licensed and stuff," but I don't think they know what that means. But
Yeah.
um, like you from what I've seen at conventions, at least it's like you know if you make your own prints and it's usually licensed, it's usually like stuff people know they'll buy, but like they won't. Like my original work doesn't really sell at those conventions and stuff. So me personally, I try to stick with just either like stuff I have actual permission to sell or my own stuff. You know,
That's
I mean,
cool.
I could just like make a bunch of Star Wars stuff, but I just it's not my style, I guess. So.
Well, cool. Well, do you sell anything online, like any place that people can buy like your prints or your cards or what?
Yeah. I mean, like typically, like on eBay is
Oh, you selling? Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
list my
Ingrid and I
cars
are
in there.
Yeah.
we're trying to figure that out.
Oh, okay.
Figure it out. Well, yeah, of course, eBay, but you kind of well, we were thinking about where we can, sell our stuff like on our own website, but
Right.
Oh, okay. I got you.
if you're doing that, well, you as a tech person, I guess you would get that. It's kind of complicated if you want to, for instance, are you going to use WooCommerce, which if you do that, which I found out this morning is kind of more complicated than I thought it was. And Etsy's okay, but they take more and more out of what you make. And anyway, yeah,
Oh, really?
that's a
Yeah.
whole other episode in itself, I think.
Yeah.
I know.
You're an eBay dude, right?
Yeah. I mean, they do take a healthy percentage out of it too. So it's kind of
Sure
like
do.
I kind of feel like I'm a little bit getting ripped off every time I make a sale.
Well, there you go. I used to sell a lot on eBay.
Yeah.
And if you sell like for, I don't know, well, in Canada anyway, if you sell for like $150 or something, by the time they finish taking everything off, you've barely made $100, maybe $90 or something. Percentage,
Yeah.
and they take another percentage off at the end of the month. And it's no.
But I know it's like, well, it's been good with like the Facebook groups, that helps sometimes. But see, they want usually it's limited. They want specific things in there. So like, but when that does work out, it's great because it's just instant,
Yeah.
So.
Of course, not everyone's on Facebook. That's the problem.
That's true.
People are leaving Facebook. People are leaving Twitter. I don't know where they're going.
I know.
Yeah, it's chaos right now.
So what socials do you use then? I mean, at your age, you must be plugged into like all the socials. What are the good ones these days?
I'm actually not like a huge into it. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook pretty much, and that's pretty much it. Instagram's been cool. I guess it's been cool because it's a lot easier to connect with like random people in the industry and stuff. And LinkedIn is really good.
What? You're the first person to tell me that. What do you do on LinkedIn?
I know. I don't hear that one a lot. So
well, it's good for like if you message people like I just researched like okay, like I got a bunch of people right now from like Wizards of the Coast on my LinkedIn, and I've messaged a lot of them, and they give you they can give you feedback. Like I messaged one guy from he was a recruiter for Blizzard and Activision, the video game companies, and I just said, hey, can you just review my portfolio? Just give me your thoughts. And he's like, yeah, sure. Send it to my email. And he gave me some advice. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just like it was for my digital work, which is not as good in my opinion. But he's like, yeah, you just need to put more thought into your environments. Every brush stroke has to have a purpose, type of thing. And talking about actually the one with the pink crystals, he was kind of critiquing that, and it was good. So like LinkedIn is good for that stuff, that like networking and stuff and just getting feedback. But Instagram has been good for just networking with like random stuff, like some CEO of like a comic company just like started following me out of the blue, and
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like you message them and it doesn't always they might not respond to stuff, but it's still cool,
So you're very proactive in your career still. You're not sitting back and waiting for people to come to you. You are going forward to get attention.
Oh yeah. I mean, most of it has just been trying to get to a level where I'm happy with where I'm at, or I think I'm like, okay, I'm professional level now. So that's been a process, but I would like to say I'm pretty much there now. At least to where I can be considered. I'm not like the at the top, but you don't have to be. But yeah. So I'm always either I go through periods where I'm not really promoting myself too much because I don't know. I just don't. But even during those periods, I'm just improving my skill. Like I'm always doing something towards it. So yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Do you have
Yeah.
any others like super deep interests in your life that, because usually whatever interests us finds our way into whatever we're creative with?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Like, do you do gaming or like Magic the Gathering, or do you play those or?
Um, yeah, actually not much of a gamer. I don't play Magic. I just like the artwork. Yeah, I don't know, like I get a lot into like, I like deep thinking things. So like I get into like theology, I get into um just rabbit trails, on YouTube and stuff, and just researching things. Like, I really art is kind of like my my main thing. Like people ask if I have hobbies besides art. It's like not really. I mean, I
Well,
like
it sounds to me like your hobby is curiosity.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just find a subject and just like, because it's easy at the tech job I do. Like, it's kind of going autopilot, so you can just listen to stuff and work. And so just like find a new topic and just like one thing I'm really interested right now is pixel art for like old school video games, because that's a whole other avenue that you can actually make money from too. But it's just awesome. So I've been researching how do they make pixel art and stuff, and it's cool. I mean, it's just you get in Photoshop and you reduce the canvas size to like minuscule, and then you just paint in pixels. And
I have never heard of that.
I've never
Wow.
heard that either. That's really neat. That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because all the like mobile games today on the phones and stuff, that's all pixel art usually. And so it still has a use. And sometimes people will just commission you just to make pixel art version of themselves as a warrior or whatever they want. Like it's a whole thing. So
Now I have to
that's
find
been really
out.
interesting.
I know. I have to check it out. Really cool.
Yeah,
So,
and voice
well,
acting too, a little bit.
What's that?
voice acting, really?
Yeah. Well, I took a couple classes. I haven't actually done any voice acting yet, but that is kind of like a loose goal I have. You know, Maybe
Wow.
because I'll be
You
in
have a
Mexico.
deep, commanding voice. That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But like
So
maybe
when do you
because
sleep with everything that you do?
no, I still sleep. I still get the 8 hours and stuff. But a lot of this stuff is very fluid. You guys know how freelance is, so it's just like, well, here's a deadline. It's like, okay, so I can make my own schedule in between now and then, as long as I finish
Okay, that
it.
brings
So
up a little topic. A young person like you, how do you manage your time, and do you have
That's a
problems
good one.
with deadlines?
yeah. No, I like deadlines because it gives me focus. If I don't have a deadline, it's like, oh, whenever you get to it, then it's kind of like, okay, well, then it's going to be a long time. Like, because I need something. Um, I thrive with deadlines. But yeah, managing time, like the one job I have, it's also a contract, so like you can make your own hours and stuff. But
Oh,
I still
nice.
treat it like an 8 hour day. I still, go there, for the whole day. Just because like, well, I mean, for income purposes, but also just because like I do like some structure.
Yeah.
Then I
That's
just come
good.
home and then
Recognize
work.
that.
Yeah, and then maybe work on some projects, and just keep an eye on the deadlines, and just it's kind of I'm not a super organized person, actually kind of chaotic but that's just how it is, I guess, and it
Have you
works
ever
out.
missed the deadline?
Um, I
Most.
think like yeah, I think with tops, I don't think they cared though. I think it was still okay, but like I missed the deadline to like send, how like you send the scans in a couple days
Yeah.
before you ship them. So I didn't send the scans in on time one time. I mean, I don't think anybody cared too much. Yeah, but
Well,
nothing major. Like, nothing like, oh, I just didn't do it. Like there's been many times where like I'll just put it off, and then like it's like the day before a top set, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do like 30 cards. Well, not 30, but like 20 cards today, like and then like that's when you just do like 15-minute cards, just like, and I think they still look pretty decent. So nobody nobody's ever said, hey, it looks like you spent 15 minutes on this. Like nobody's ever caught on to it. But like some of the cars I've done have been like really like fast. Like I mean,
Yeah, you do what you got to do, eh?
Yeah, for
Do
real.
you see yourself staying with sketch cards for a while more, or is this a stepping stone for you to move on to something else?
It kind of is a stepping stone. I think that at least that's the goal. The goal is to eventually, well, especially like for instance, when I moved to Mexico later this year, I'm gonna be a full-time missionary, so I'm not gonna be able to be a full-time artist in this same sense, but I'm always gonna be doing projects on the side. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be about like trying to I'm always trying to get something that that's more about original artwork and more into that. And
That's cool.
yeah, so I'm always trying, like I'm still trying to get into the video game world and into stuff like Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of other trading card games out there, but just so like I think it's a stepping stone, but it's been a good one. I mean, I'm still in it, so
Yeah. Oh, well, neat.
So no, go ahead, Jenni, please.
Oh, no, I was just gonna I always like knowing like if a person grew up around a lot of art, like were in your house, like did your parents, your sisters, your brothers, did you have people that introduced you to art, or was it just something you picked up and went with?
Yeah, so both my parents, they did have some interest in art. So like they're not like professional artists, that they have other careers, but like they both, kind of dabbled in that. So like, yeah, one of the things as a kid that really inspired me was they had the MC Escher book, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and so like I was obsessed with that little book, and then yeah, I don't know, like it was just a natural thing. Like when I was a little kid, I would just draw people's faces and really abstract ways looking back on it, but like I just always drew, and then they're very supportive, encouraging. So like my mom, I remember one summer, like I was just drawing. I'll make my own stories, make these little comics and stuff of like different characters like turtles and lizards and stuff, and so she saw I was doing that, so she like left and came back with like a whole stack of papers, like here you go, like just keep doing it. And
Wow.
so that was really nice, to have
That's
that.
a great mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, and that's just that was always my thing,
So where
just kinda
can
stuck
people
with it.
find you online if they want to see what you do?
Yeah, so like definitely Facebook, either my personal account or the Art of Ward Silverman is the Facebook page, and then Instagram. You can find me by my name on there, and it's also Silver Sentinel 2000 is the Instagram name. But yeah, and also on my website. My website has the link to all those, and my email.
Awesome.
And
website.
yeah.
Cool. I was beginning to think nobody had websites anymore. It was maybe
I know.
Yeah.
So did you build your own website, or
not really. I used Weebly. It's kind of like Wix or one of those sites where they just they give everything pre-made, and you just kind of drag and drop things, and so you don't need to know how to code and stuff. So I just did that,
And it works for you?
Yeah. It works pretty good.
Is it pricing?
It's actually free if you don't want your own domain. So for a long time, I just had a Weebly extension, but then I'm like, well, I need my own domain. So it's not. It wasn't expensive. It was like, I think it's like $15 a month or something like that. I mean,
that's okay.
Yeah, it's doable.
Okay, check that out.
I know, we're making notes. Okay. No, we were talking about this earlier before you came on. Building our websites and adding the e-commerce stuff, which is just a big old pain in the butt.
I know.
A separate store or separate galleries, if that's what you're doing or something, and then it gets to be kind of even more complicated than it already is when you have websites everywhere. It's like, can we not just put everything in one place? It would be so much easier.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, yeah, they do have that built in. I know there is like e-commerce stuff on those sites that they already kind of set it up for you, and you just kind of put in your information and stuff. So
Oh, cool.
might be something to look into.
Yeah, for sure.
I have WordPress. I've had that for like 15 years now. It's great
Oh,
as
yeah.
a core thing, but you have to add everything in, and it's plugins and it's this and it's that, which is fine, except that each plugin is a different set of miseries, if you like. So but anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to slowly head on out the door here. Do you have advice for anyone who might be looking to either get into sketch cards or get into art in general or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, big, like definitely like study the fundamentals, lighting, perspective, proportion, value, like that's all it is. Like just study the fundamentals, nature, get a huge list of artists that inspire you. Get on like Pinterest. That's another one. Pinterest is a really good website for gathering reference.
If I may just interject, if you're going to use Pinterest, put a timer beside your laptop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a week will go by.
5 hours later.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just gather reference. For me, that's when I grew as an artist, was when I started not just taking art classes in school and being like, oh yeah, Da Vinci and stuff. I mean, he's one of the masters, but like it's like the stuff that inspired me was like Ralph McQuarrie and like fantasy artists and all these obscure sci-fi artists and stuff. It's like, whoa, like okay, like that you can do that with paint. Like okay, I'll look into that. So like my advice would just be find whatever inspires you and then like delve into that world, and then you'll naturally just improve if you do those things. The fundamentals, get feedback. You're like message like famous artists, and sometimes they actually respond and they'll give you a critique. It's not gonna be
advice.
It's gonna be tough, but yeah.
It's surprising how many people will actually reply, to people who have actually done all kinds of cool things. And I've emailed people, and by golly, they'll actually reply to you. Saying, wow.
Yeah. Actually, a really good website is ArtStation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Yeah, that's an awesome website. And all those people there, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are professionals. And CG Society is another good one. And I actually took a couple classes on there. And those people work in the industry. Like I had a teacher who was working on video games and stuff, and like they're just raw. Like they'll just be like, all right, so what we need to do here is like everything's basically wrong. Like you got to fix this, and you got to like blah, blah, blah. Like, but it's like it's what you need to hear, So,
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for having joined us, Ward. This has been super interesting. I'm so glad you're on my dragon set.
Yay!
Yeah.
Dragon stuff's awesome. Really good stuff. And your dinosaurs, really cool, Ward.
Oh, thanks.
I really do encourage everyone to go check your work out.
Definitely.
You have an original style. You have a very raw feel to your work. It's and like Jenni said, your use of color is really nice. And that's great stuff.
Thank you.
So thank you for having joined us and talked to us about all that makes Ward. Good luck to you. Good luck to you when you make your move, and I hope everything goes well. And
appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. All the links to find you will be in the show notes below. If you could just send me some copies of your links, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
And I'll copy them in when I get to that part. So thank you so much again, Ward. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ward. It was great to meet you. Great art. Love it. So
nice to meet you too.